Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. We are talking to you today, guys, about do not ignore the red flags. Yes, do not ignore the red flags, and we're going to break down some of the reasons why people ignore these red flags. Guys, before we go any further and kick off the festivities, I gotta let you know that this particular video, yes, is sponsored by Been Verified, and we've teamed up with them to help you guys keep safe. So Been Verified makes the dating process safer by helping users run background checks on potential partners. Now, if you're a person that goes on online quite a bit, this is going to be much for you. You know, with the hazards of online dating, you want to be able to make sure that the person who you're talking to is who they say they actually are. And if you didn't know as well, up to 53% of people lie on their dating profiles. Kind of shocking, right? And 1 in 10 people on their dating profiles are fake. Yeah. And actually, it gets a bit worse. 43% of people on Tinder, and I'm not on Tinder, so I don't know. 43% of people on Tinder aren't even single. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I can't come on that. I'm not here to judge anybody. So if you think you know someone, Been Verified wants to have you at peace of mind by potentially allowing you to check the important facts such as employment, full name, address, drug charges, DUIs, possible family members, financial information, just like bankruptcy, just in case. You never know, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of you lot are saying you want 6-figure man. Most importantly as well, social medias as well. So Been Verified's goal is to help protect you and yourselves while you are dating. And Little Black Book, like I said, is always invested in trying to help people keep safe. So listen, click on the description box down below, okay? Because who doesn't love a discount? Use the link checkbv.com LBB and get your 15% off. Wow. Now, I've said quite a bit, but please do check it out. It's really important. Keep you safe. But let's get into the video. Let's talk about ignoring red flags and why people do them, okay?
She is very gorgeous to me.
Red flags to me are signal a problem that one cannot simply overlook and must be checked and verified to make sure it's safe to continue. Okay, red flags are universal and they are unique in nature to the individual person, but also they're universal to the wider community that you exist in, right? So I may have a red flag that most people have a red flag with, such as rudeness, but there may be an intrinsic, or I should say, a one that's specific solely to me, right? In terms of red flags, like let's say you chew your toenails. I don't really know, that's not really my thing, but I want to let you know that could be somebody's red flag. I mean, it shouldn't be, but for them, it could be their red flag, okay? And so I want to talk about why do you ignore these red flags? Because if you've watched my channel, we talk a lot about the why, because I want you to understand behavior and understand yourself. So one of the reasons why we're breaking this down, and if you guys as well stay with me, I'm writing the book at the same time. It's going to call PEW, where we're going to talk about the scams of relationships. But why do we ignore them? We ignore red flags, one, because of desperation. There's a quote which says, "To the hungry man, everything bitter tastes sweet." Now, I don't know if you've ever been hungry before. Anything tastes good when you're hungry, right? Because you're so hungry, you just want to eat food. And so, similarly enough, people ignore red flags simply because they're hungry for man or hungry for gal. Yeah, they are so invested with trying to get with somebody, and they're so wanting to be loved and cared for and to be embraced and to be in a relationship with somebody, they ignore these red flags. And again, that quote which says, "To the hungry man, everything bitter." So when things are not great, when they can see that there are flags popping up like, "Oh, that don't work for me, that don't work for me, that don't work for me," because of their desperation to want to be able to be in a relationship, they ignore that to be with the other person. All right. Number 2 is denial. Okay. Heavy, strong denial. Okay, now the ostrich sticks its head in the ground when things are going a bit mad, and the reason why is because it's denial. When we ignore the facts that are stated to us, because it's much more convenient for your life to stay as it is, then you end up ignoring these red flags. Like you're dating somebody who's really good looking, and they are super good looking to you, yeah, and because now You see some certain things that really do not work for you, but because of the hope, the desperation, also the want and the desire, okay, to be with somebody who is so good looking that you feel almost like you're special to be in that person's life, you ignore that because it's not convenient for you to see those red flags, because that would mean changing you. That would mean breaking what you're seeing right now, which is your fantasy. Okay. And then if you have to break it, then you have to change it. And that means inputting different processes to what you had before, which may potentially let that partner go. That means also as well, admitting that as well. And this is one of the points as well, admitting that you got this one wrong, and it's okay. And even if saying get it wrong is a wrong terminology, listen, where you are isn't where you need to be. Okay. Right? And that's a whole part of denial. Sometimes we deny because we don't want to accept that we have stepped somewhere where it's not beneficial for me. Does it serve you? If it doesn't serve you in this particular instance, and it's actually costing you time, energy, resources, you know what I'm saying, then you need to look at it and say, hey, do you know what? I need to step away. Another reason why people cannot or seem to ignore red flags is distrust. And the distrust often isn't of the other person, it's of you. And, you know, this is going to link to our fourth point, but distrust of one's, I call it compass, when you no longer sure what direction to go in, okay? When we have that distrust, it's often because we've been hurt in the past, we've made the wrong choice in the past, we've had family issues in the past which have breeded a dysfunctionality in us, so our directional compass is a little bit fungazy, and so there's a distrust on your part of how you choose partners. So now when you see the red flags, instead of actually saying, hey, this is a red flag, you actually say, I don't know if I can trust my own judgment to say that this is actually a red flag. Oh, I you know, in the past I've made judgments and it wasn't correct, so now I can't trust me to trust my thinking and my logic and my decision process, decision making process. I can't trust it because I'm scared I'll make a mistake. Right? So that breeds your distrust for yourself, just because you might get it wrong. Right? You know, and so that's also another reason. Number 4, dysfunctionality. I'm going to say it again, dysfunctionality. Why do I talk about this? Because I talk about this in a lot of my videos. A lot of things that seem normal to me and to you, sometimes those things that are normalized are dysfunctional. But we've sat with it for so long. That means with you, with your parents, that's with you seeing relationships with boys and girls, that's with you seeing relationships and how you grew up, your grandparents, etc., etc., etc. We normalize certain behaviors. I spoke about one of these where I said about put me in my place. For many people, that is normal. And I'll say, no, it's dysfunctional. Look at the terminology of put me in my place and you'll find out that shouldn't be happening in your relationship. I shouldn't put you in your place and neither should you. You are not of a lower rank to me. You are my co-equal partner. But because it's so normalized as language in today's society, when you say, oh, put me in my place is dysfunctional, it's toxic, someone's like, wait, no, because I actually believe that. But what the whole point is communicating the truest words. Like I said in another video, talking about, make sure you speak the truest form of that, of what you're actually saying, right? Don't talk about the outer shell of it. Talk about the coreness of it. Is it assertive, okay, or is it dominance? We don't want dominance, we want assertiveness. Or is it assertiveness or is it aggressiveness? No, we don't want aggressiveness, we want assertiveness. Do you want the bad boy or do you want a guy that actually is somebody who has boundaries? You see, bad boys know how to get girls to feel a certain type of way. And that's because they're anti the rules, right? So girls are looking for guys who are willing to break rules. Does that mean go through a red light? No. It just means that they are spontaneous. It means that, you know, when things are said to them, they don't just take it on the fly and say, I believe what you said. No, they check it. They make sure. And also they do as they want to do. So do as you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but even then, as I mentioned, bad boys, there are some genuine girls who really do like bad boys. And I'm not talking about the guys that I just mentioned. I'm talking about those who are really in criminal behaviors. Why? Dysfunctionality. They're so used to this behavior. They've been conditioned that this is so normal that now that dysfunctionality has bred to being normal for them. And so now they ignore these red flags because it is normalized. Okay? So these red flags that you're seeing, trust yourself to make that decision that this is a red flag for me. I cannot go further. Trust yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? 2, do not go in. They always say this: don't go into a shop when you're hungry because you buy everything. So when you're looking for a relationship, if you've got a point of desperation, you're not content, you are more than likely going to choose somebody who is not good for you. You need to start working on how to be content with one's self. Okay. Number 3 here, please do not put yourself in denial. That means now this: deal with truth. As painful as it is, you've got to talk to yourself and say, hey, do you know what? I don't always like the truth, but the truth is going to set me free. Let me say it again. The truth will set me free. You understand? Like, and so understanding that is so key. And I think the final thing when we're talking about dysfunctionality is that sometimes some people have to go through certain events in order to learn. Sometimes people have to experience dysfunctionality in a relationship, come out of it by grace of God, and then they are able to say, hey, that was dysfunctional. That's not for me. Okay. And in other aspects, look at healthy relationships. Right? Ask questions, read books, read articles. What is a healthy relationship? The internet is of the age here where you can type anything. Type in what is a healthy relationship and what does it look like, so that when you're entering these relationships, you're not going to ignore these red flags because, you know, you've been told through culture, through your parents or through friends that this is normal. Some of it is just not normal. Okay? So yeah, guys, that is Little Black Book's video on the 4 reasons as to why people ignore red flags. Don't again, tune in next week when we bring another video to you guys live as well. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. And don't forget as well, use our link, checkbv/LBB to get 15% off Bin Verified for you to keep safe. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded.